Hello, I'm Dynast Amir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Africans and otherwise, expats and indigenous, it is time for the Unmitigated Gall's audacious interview, one-on-one with someone in the media who is making it happen. With me today, the Kevin Samuels of Pan-African Podcast. He went from a D1 athlete to a corporate sales all-star, and now he's leading a wave of Black Americans who are splitting time between the U.S. and the motherland. My frat brother and friend, Prince Dynast Amir. Dynast, thanks for being on the show.
Hey, EG, bruh, thank you so much for having me. You know I had to come on to the podcast. I'm like, hold on, my frat brother's doing a podcast now. You gotta have me on the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like a bad friend because I didn't realize how successful your podcast is. This is a man who has 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm glad we got this time to check in and talk about your podcast and your documentary, which is something I love. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about your documentary. We're going to talk about your podcast. We're going to talk about the Pan-African movement and its growth in America as a whole. But first, just talk to me about your journey from Albert Horton Hollis II to Dynast Amir. So we met 20 years ago at the University of Georgia as wannabe Kappas, and now you're Prince Dynast Amir.
21 years ago. We met in 2001.
That's right.
21 years.
And then pledged in 02.
Pledged in 02. There we go. We get old, EG. I'm 40. So you 41. I know.
Yes.
I'm 42.
41. Don't age me more than I am.
But you know, EG, we still look good though. You still look the same.
Yep. You still stay in good shape too. That lets me know you single.
Even if I wasn't single, I still make sure I take care of myself.
And that's what I like about you. You're a motivated guy. I think that's why you've been successful as an athlete, as a salesman, and now you're selling your podcast and it's working. You've got 100,000 subscribers. So for those that don't know, just give a quick timeline from Bert to Prince Dynast Amir.
All right, so I was born Albert Horton Hollis II, April 15th, 1982, Sacramento, California. Went to the University of Georgia on a football scholarship. Also ran track. That's where I met my line brother, Artel, Eric Goldson. Spring in 2002. Kappa Alpha Psi, Zeta Iota, Gladiators, everyone. I had a pretty catastrophic knee injury while at UGA. So football didn't work out, but I ran track. So after, once I graduated from UGA with a degree in agricultural business, was kind of trying to figure out life, what I'm going to do next. The NFL was going to happen. So I was kind of, like a lot of us, graduate, what am I going to do? Because we have this misconception that once we graduate, just the job offers and the money was just going to...
They damn sure do not.
Yeah. We're just gonna roll in, but and that transition could be kind of tough. So, started personal training. Then I was like, I'm gonna start modeling. So I also sold insurance as well. I was a sales guy. I started selling insurance. That was in 06. So I graduated from UGA in 05. 06. Kind of went into corporate America. Personal training. Insurance, and then was wanted to be a male model, an actor. So then I relocated to LA, to Los Angeles, and the entertainment industry it didn't, because of the egos and and really the way black people, how we just were so cutthroat with dealing with each other in the entertainment industry. I was just like, look, I might as well go back to corporate America because it's not worth the hassle dealing with all these egos and different personalities when I could just make more money doing sales in corporate America. So went back to corporate America, So I moved to LA in 2008 from Atlanta, chasing the Hollywood dream, but ended up back in corporate America in 2010. And started doing good. I've been done pretty well when it comes to sales. So went back to corporate America in 2010. Took a job with a company called Centos, selling uniforms and toilet paper. But I didn't know you can make that much money selling toilet paper. But now when you think about it, everybody wipes the butt. So there it goes. So
Right.
was doing very well in selling toilet paper and mats and stuff like that. So I remember I was just calling everybody. Like, listen, man, I'm getting to the bag. I'm here in LA. I'm getting to the money. And a friend of mine, Fitzgerald Stevens, said, "Hey," and I had changed my name. So, in 2009, I legally changed my name from Albert Horton House II to Dynast Amir. So that happened in 2009. I skipped that part. Sorry about that. So, I called my friend Fitzgerald. Was talking to him. He's like, "Dynast, you're making good money. Go take a cruise. Go take a vacation." But I've always been straight grind and hustle and work 24/7, 365, 366 in a leap year. I'm like, nah, I'm not taking no vacation. He's like, man, take a vacation. So I said, okay. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to Brazil because single black men with expendable income, Brazil, Rio de
Right.
Janeiro. I'm going to Brazil. I'm gonna be on Copacabana with all the girls, all the big booty Brazilian chicks in Brazil. That's where I'm going. So there was a
Right.
mutual friend that did EG though at UGA. She's Brazilian. She was like, Bert. She used to call him Bert. She was like, Bert, listen, I'll take you to Brazil. We'll have a great time. I said, okay. So then, like maybe a month later, this was probably around spring of 2011. I was planning on going in December. So a month later, she backed out. It was like, listen, Bert. I was like, well, my name's Dynast now. But oh, my bad. She was like, look, I can't go. So I was like, listen, I'm not going to Brazil myself. So I reached out to another homeboy of mine, Yishak Abraham. And I was like, listen, I got some vacation time. I need to go somewhere. He's like, go to Tanzania. It's like, Tanzania? This is 2011. It's like, Tanzania. He's like, yeah, go to Tanzania. I said, okay. All right. So I started to research Tanzania. Tanzania's in in East Africa, by the way, off
Right.
of the ocean, on the coast of the Indian Ocean. And there was an island off the coast called Zanzibar. And at the time, I didn't know Zanzibar was a real place because there's a club at the time in LA in Santa Monica when I was in LA called Zanzibar. And I said, okay, this is confirmation, so I'm actually go. So I went. This was December 2011, and fell in love. Absolutely fell in love with Africa. So every vacation I had when I was in corporate America, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna spend my vacation, my 2 3 weeks, I'm gonna spend it in Africa. So I always was trying to find a new place to go to. So back up a little bit. 2011, my first trip to Tanzania. I remember landing in Dar es Salaam, Julius Nyerere Airport, and so they didn't have the little bridge or whatever it's called that connects to the plane where you can get out and walk into the actual terminal. We had to get off the plane on the actual tarmac and walk into the terminal. So we walk in, I get my pass, get my visa, all that stuff. And so I leave, I exit the airport. And I remember, if you've been to Africa before, it's really not like this like it used to be. Because, a lot of the airports, they either they've renovated and they don't allow certain people to pedal right outside the airport. But the minute you leave the airport, usually there's people selling SIM cards, selling a little bit of everything, taxis, and all this other stuff. So, I walk outside the airport, and they're like, they start speaking to me in Swahili, and I look at them like, I don't understand. And then they start speaking English, like, okay, where are you from? And I said, I'm from America. He's like, no, 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 no. Where are you from? I said, I'm from America. They were like, no, 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 no. What tribe are you from? And at the time, I didn't know. And so they just started guessing random countries. I'm like, listen, I don't know. And so I had to explain to them in Africa. I assumed everybody understood the slave trade because they don't get taught that. So I had to explain to them, like, listen, I've been disconnected through slavery. That I don't know where I'm from. I just know I'm a Black American.
Right.
And they just,
Excuse me, sir. I'm in the sunken place. I'm sorry.
yeah. Like I didn't understand. I mean, but they still couldn't understand that. So after that interaction, that's where the inspiration for In Search of Uhuru came from. So I said, you know what? When I start going on these trips, instead of just being vacation, I'm gonna make it more meaningful and start covering my roots. So I first started with African ancestry. So I took a DNA test. Results came back. Midday Sierra Leone. I have through other DNA tests. I have Nigerian and Banta, Guinea-Bissau, in Yoruba and Nigeria. And so I just started to travel about Africa and just put the puzzles together. And then that's where Search for Uhuru came from. It was more of my personal journey as far as uncovering my roots throughout Africa. And Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. And so since Swahili was just the language that spoke in Tanzania, that's why I use Uhuru. That was the first language I came in contact with. African language I came in contact with was Swahili when I was in Tanzania.
Now, and speaking of that, I bought the documentary. I didn't ask for a hookup, everybody. I supported my brother.
It's
and I bought the
$10.99.
documentary.
Listen,
And
you got $11 for you, bro. You got $11. $10.99.
Right. Skip Chick-fil-A one day. But so I got it. Now, were you documenting as early as your first trip to Tanzania, or was that later? Is the documentary, because it's got footage from pretty much throughout. Does it cover Tanzania on?
Right. So it covers every country I've been to, kind of like in a chronological order. So it does cover my first trip in 2011 to Tanzania.
Now, speaking of that, I want to back up because you changed your name and you said '08 or '09.
'09.
And you were living in Cali at that point. What was your dad thinking? Because you were born Albert Horton Hollis II. You're in California. Right. You changed your name. What's that conversation like?
My dad wasn't tripping at all. I'm gonna tell you, my family wasn't tripping. It was like my friends, for some reason, had more of a problem.
The bros.
Yeah, but my family, they were cool with it. They didn't have a problem with it. They was like, okay.
Well, I gotta tell you, I gotta apologize because it really took me a long time to wrap my head around the name change. I didn't know if you were like promoting something or if it was some kind of angle to it. But I mean, just year after year, you're traveling to Africa. You're clearly becoming way more educated on Africa than I am. I just kind of wonder, am I a lost soul? And the friends from that era, are we still lost souls that we're still very comfortable in the Eurocentric? Because I gotta say, I don't really have this big urge to, go to Africa every year. So am I lost?
No, I mean, be who you are. Be who you are. I'm guessing you left corporate America, did you?
No, I work for a different corporation now. I left the super huge one. Now I'm just at a big one.
Okay, I mean, it's not for everybody. I just tell people do what makes you happy. I know sometimes, and I used to be like this. Like I'll see somebody who I guess isn't into Africa or into knowing their roots, and I would think, you tripping or you lost? But everybody's journey is different. So I don't judge or try to keep people down like a Jehovah's Witness. When it comes to building a bridge between the continent and for the diaspora and the continent. So everybody's calling is different. Do what makes you happy, and just
I like that.
If you see somebody doing positive work, just support.
I like that.
If it inspires you, it inspires you. If it doesn't, it's what it is.
Now, a second ago, you mentioned corporate America. Do you ever miss corporate America? You said you left in 2018. You're making good bread. Do you ever miss it?
I won't go back. I mean, I won't say it's been perfect since I left corporate America. As far as, you're responsible for everything now as far as insurance and and whatnot. But I wouldn't go back.
Last thing before we talk about the documentary more and your podcast more in depth, your views on Americans and Black Americans. How do you feel about being referred to as a hotep, and what's up with your like hate of the Democrats?
People don't really call me Hotep anymore because of, I guess, my thoughts when it comes to politics and just in general isn't as Hotepish. So I'm not like a socialist. I'm not a socialist communist. You know, I
Okay.
don't blame the white. I don't blame the white man for everything. I'm very big on accountability, especially when it comes to the black community. So that goes against like being a hotep. You know, everything's the white man's fault. You know, capitalism's evil. Um, so I'm not really a hotep.
Now, talk about the documentary. I'm a huge fan of documentaries. That's probably my favorite genre. You know, I made one that got me in trouble with the bros. But yours, like you say, it's a labor of love because you're doing it yourself. You're working on it for years.
Right.
Talk about the process. Are you so you're collecting your footage? Then at what point do you say, "All right, let's put this all together"?
I would say I finally decided to put it all together. So I had originally announced that I was going to do a documentary back in like 2012, right? And I actually started like a GoFundMe, but then I kind of put it aside because I wanted to document. Now my journey's still not done, but it was still too early in the process. So for me, once I received my Sierra Leonean citizenship right here, my Sierra Leonean passport.
Bam.
Right. I have my Nigerian one too. So once I was coronated as a prince in Nigeria, Uhuru and Osun State in 2019, and then once I received my Sierra Leonean citizenship in 2021, then I was like, okay, this part of the journey, again, this journey's not over yet. Or as, Nipsey Hussle says, rest in peace, the marathon's not over yet. I was like, okay, now it's time to put this together as far as the documentary. So I think it was October of last year. Reached out to somebody and was like, listen, I got this footage. I want to put the documentary together. He's like, okay, so we shot it right here at my house as far as the interview part. Me, talking about all the countries and my experience. And then we just took the footage that I've already had from my journey and just put it all together and just released it last week. So
Nice. Congratulations. Yeah. And everybody go and buy that. Two moments from the documentary really stood out to, well, a couple. One when they slit open the cow's neck and the blood came out. Another part where you were talking about eating bush meat, and I showed Naima the footage of, like, I guess they were like rats or some type of rodent. You were talking about how fire it tasted.
a guti. It's like I don't know if it's a groundhog or what it is, but it's called a guti.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, a groundhog with a longer tail. But the part what I really thought was great, and I see you bring up Nigeria a lot, is when you're crowned a prince, you get the crown and your passport at the same time. You look at the camera and you're kind of like, yeah. I thought that was a great moment. But I also got to put on my journalist hat and ask the skeptical questions. Do you ever feel like you could have been crowned a prince as a way to promote tourism for that local community?
Well, that's one of my responsibilities as well to bring awareness to the community. So that's where my tour company started. So once I was given that role of hey, that is bring awareness to the kingdom, I said, okay, well, I'll just start bringing people. So shortly thereafter, that following August 2019 was the first tour that I did. We went to Nigeria.
So it is. It's like one hand washing the other, and you're happy to do it because it's your roots.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
no, well, I was gonna say it's just they always say like once you get paid to do something that you love to do. So like I have a tour company. I go take people to Africa.
Right.
So it's like it's work, but it's not work because I'm getting paid to do what I love to do, and I was asked to go to Africa. So that was as far as the tourism part to bring awareness to the kingdom part of people. That was okay, no problem.
And you
You
said
know,
something shocking in your documentary. You said you once found a round trip ticket to Ethiopia for like $350. I told that to my wife immediately.
no, it was to Cote d'Ivoire on Ethiopian Airlines. But
On
yeah, sometimes
Ethiopian Airlines. Okay.
yeah. But sometimes you'll find these deals for 400, $500. It just I'm bougie now. I fly Delta. I like or I try to fly. If I go find a ticket for less than $3,000, that's business class. I'll do that. That's so. Yeah, I don't know. I just something about flying business class and being stretched out. And, I enjoy that. But as far as for coach, yeah, you can find tickets for 400, $500 easily. I mean, they're out there.
Now, we're going to have some fun. I want to talk about speaking of movies, I want to talk about other black movies. But are any more documentaries or movies coming from you before we shift gears?
No, I'm sure they'll definitely be in search for Who Part 2, but that will be a couple years down the road. But also, too, I'm going to be focusing a lot on Nollywood, the Nigerian film market. Yeah. So I'm going to be focused on that. Working on some projects doing that here shortly. So I'll keep you guys posted on that.
I saw a documentary. I think it was a Viceland on Nollywood and just how they churn out movies like Master P used to, and how it's over the top. It's low budget, a lot of them, but they're just like it's a market that feeds itself because the people love it. It's insular, and it's just over the top, and it's just a lot. It's just a volume that you'd be stunned at.
Yeah, well, that's kind of key. I remember back in the late '90s, Master P was No Limit was releasing something every other week. So and they were all going gold and platinum,
Right.
which is amazing. So I was going to when I was in Sacramento, I was going to the record store around the corner from my house and buying a new CD every other week. No Limit. So sometimes it's people say what is it? Content over what's the term? Content over
Quality over quantity.
Right. There you go. Quality over quantity. But sometimes, like with these Nollywood movies, they've been successful with the quantity over quality.
Yeah.
So hey, listen, it's worked for them. So
the Tyler Perry model.
Right.
Speaking of Tyler Perry, that's a good transition. I want to get your thoughts on some other black film and TV. First of all, you had a very successful podcast recently about the Wakanda Forever trailer. Are you looking forward to Wakanda Forever?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna go see it. I can't wait for it to come out.
So, and are largely people excited about it?
I think so. Some of the people, I think in Hollywood now they're moving towards more, especially when it comes to black media, more of a black feminist, strong woman, I guess, agenda, and people were trying to associate that with the new Black Panther. But I said, listen, the original Black Panther, he passed away, unfortunately. Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa, he passed away. Your boy Killmonger, he got killed. Dan Kalula, I think that's his name, that played in Get Out.
He got whooped.
Well, he couldn't come back to film because he's shooting with Jordan Peele, whatever his name is. So he couldn't come back. So the main male roles, they're all gone. And so, I mean, it's kind of the women now.
Does that bother you, the Hollywood feminist agenda got to the Black Panther franchise?
Well, yes and no, but maybe because of the circumstances, because, again, T'Challa got killed. I'm not killed. He passed away in real life. Killmonger got killed. Daniel, I think his last name is Kalula, or he couldn't come back to film.
So they get a
So that just
pass
leaves
then.
yeah. So I just like I said, I'm gonna go to it.
All right. So speaking of movies, let's do overrated, underrated. I'm gonna do some movies and TV series that I'm pretty sure you've seen, along with every other Black American of our generation. I'm
Go ahead.
curious to see if the Prince thinks they are overrated or underrated. The Color Purple.
Overrated.
Oh, why? So many quotables in there.
Yeah, but it was just this struggle post plantation life, man. It was overrated.
12 Years a Slave.
Overrated.
Not that. Yeah, I agree on that one. That's a pretty obvious overrated. Amistad.
I like Amistad. I like Amistad. I like Amistad. 'Cause, I mean, I like Amistad. It tells a story. Sing P, which is he's Sierra Leonean actually. He's a midday man like me. You know, goes to court in America, gets illegal cargo, gets kidnapped as a slave to America, states his case in court, and has the opportunity to go back. You don't have too many of those stories, so I enjoyed that. Directed by Debbie Allen. That was a good movie. I like that.
Debbie Allen is underrated, and I feel like Jaimin Hunsu is an underrated actor. So
John Hunsu.
I agree. From your side from the West Coast, like you, Boys in the Hood, overrated, underrated.
Oh, classic. I prefer Menace to Society though.
I knew it.
I like Menace to Society more than Boys in the Hood, but Boys in the Hood, that's a classic. I mean that right there is a classic.
So it's hard to overrate Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, you can't overrate Boys in the Hood. That's a classic.
The series Roots, the TV series that changed it all.
You know, I didn't watch a lot of Roots. I watched some of it. Yeah, I didn't. In fact, it's funny you brought that up because I visited Kuta Kinte. I met his family when I was in Gambia.
What?
They're still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, I met the family in Gambia.
And I cannot do a overrated, underrated movies without a California classic from a California kid, Soul Plane.
Never seen it, but I heard it was trash.
You know what? I'm going to say Soul Plane because I heard that too. I'm going to say it's underrated because I heard how garbage it was. People were basically like, this is the worst movie ever was.
Really?
And then, my expectations were super low. It was like Pootie Tang low. Mm-hmm. But then when I watched it, I'm like, it is what it is. It's just a ghetto funny film. It's not. So I would actually tell you to watch it because it'll probably be better than you anticipate. So overrated, underrated with Prince Dynast Amir.
Yeah,
Prince,
but I
gotta let you go here.
I still got to check out Roots though. I've never watched the whole thing. I never watched the whole series. Never watched it. I just know I met his family when I was in Gambia.
Yeah, I can't take Back to Africa tips from a guy who's never watched Roots. So you check out Roots. Everybody at home, check out the search for Uhuru, Prince Dynast Amir. Sir, thank you. I'm going to talk to you soon.